Hi, it's Biddy Penny. I'm back with you today. Just sharing this kind of grayscale card with a pop of color that I came up with. So I got this frames from Stampin' Up. They're discontinuing them, and I really like them. They are a little fussy. My rectangular one didn't quite emboss just right. Anyway, so I'm adding my color with some watercolors, and this is a little Prima set, the classics. And what I'm going to show you here is just mixing a little brown with yellow to darken it up to see what we get, and then purple. And I shared this with you just to kind of share the difference of vibrancy. Like, I really like the purple mixed with the yellow for my darker shade. So I'm just going to lay down some straight from the pan yellow color. And this is going to be a very quick watercolor process. Watercoloring is my favorite way to add color. So I always keep a paper towel handy. There I tried the darker, but I didn't like it. I went back to the orange, which I had done previously on my card example, and I just really like what that adds. So I'm just laying down a bit of orange just kind of everywhere, to be honest. And then I go back in with that darker color for my berries. I feel like that's unconventional to have brown berries, but I wanted to keep it pretty neutral. I wanted those to not necessarily stand out with a green or a red, which are the colors that I would feel would be pretty typical. So I'm laying down just a tad bit of gray. I'm trying to decide if I wanted the lighter gray or a punched up, which after coloring those top two, I decided to punch it up. So what I'm doing is I'm putting it down in a pretty opaque way and letting it dry just a tiny bit. Oh yeah, got to color that in on the top one too. And then I'm going to water it down, take a much lighter version to add my shadow on the envelope. I'm letting that other one, those leaves dry a bit, and then I just go back with my paper towel again and just kind of absorb a little bit of that color to soften it so we can see the lines of the stamp and the detail. I just like the results that gives. All right, I'm bringing in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to trim this down. I always trim it down to 4 by 5 1/4. I cut the 4 first and then the 5 1/4. And what that gives me is a great little strip to go inside of my card, which I always embellish the insides of my cards in some way by either stamping or adding paper that I had used or ephemera, something. All right, so I'm laying this out and I'm leaving this in because I was really trying to decide. Like, originally I wanted that long strip to go the full length of the card, but when I put it all together, I wasn't a fan. And then I tried it over here. Maybe that's better. No, not really. Okay, cool, no problem. I'll just back up the oval. Oh, I rushed it. My painting was still wet. So I took a clean brush with just water and soaked it into the paper and then dried it with a paper towel. And that pretty much works, especially for the lighter colors like yellow. And then I learned from my mistake and cleaned my glass mat. So this is the Tonic Studios glass mat that you probably see in a lot of card maker and paper crafter videos because it's awesome to work on. So I'm backing that, and I know it doesn't stretch all the way across, but I'm not worried about it because that piece, that stamped image is so large. I know it's going to cover the parts of the oval that my backing paper does not cover. And so I'm not concerned. So I'll pop that up on some foam squares and voila, that looks good to me. Glue this baby down. And we have a card front. I really like making a lot of blank cards that don't have a sentiment. I try to have plenty in my stash because you just never know what you might want to use this card for. I think it would fit for so many things like Missing You, which is one of the sentiments in the stamp set. This stamp set, by the way, is from Spellbinders FSJ, Fun Stamper's Journey, and it's called Blue Skies, and I love it. It was love at first sight. I had to get it. It has a hot air balloon. It has a banner with flowers around it. It's lovely. So yeah, when you cut your paper that way, if you have a 6x6 piece of paper, you're going to end up with that little strip down at the bottom, which I adore. And then I just added in the other strip that I had cut off, that black and white piece. It was double-sided paper. And I just thought that was fun. So I hope you enjoyed this. Have a blessed day.